The sky had never looked so cruel. Dark clouds hung low, weeping only over her. The streets shimmered with puddles reflecting her every step. People ran for shelter, but the rain refused to leave her side. No matter where she went, the storm followed. Yet, across the town, her twin watched in the sun, laughing, unaware that her arrogance had summoned the sky itself. What would it take for her to finally say the words that could stop the storm? That one word, sorry. The morning started like any other, with birds chirping lazily and the sun spilling golden light over the small town of Marlowe. But for Alara, the white-faced twin, the sun did not shine. Rain fell from the heavens in relentless sheets, drumming on the windows of her little house. People peeked from behind curtains, whispering to each other about the mysterious storm that seemed to follow only her. Across town, her sister Amara, the black-faced twin, watched the rain from her sunny garden, tending to blooming flowers, her hands gentle and patient. She always seemed to radiate warmth, a sharp contrast to Alara's cold pride. Alara stomped her feet on the wet street. Her blonde hair plastered her face, eyes narrowed in anger and frustration. "Why me?" she muttered. Every time she tried to leave, the rain followed. Shops closed their doors when she approached. Friends hurried past, avoiding the soggy shadow of her presence. And yet, Amara seemed untouched, her laughter like a bell in the warm sunlight. Memories of their childhood flashed in Alara's mind, the bitter truths she had long ignored. Amara had always been the gentle one, protecting her from bullies, sharing every little joy, forgiving every little cruelty. And yet, Alara had ignored her kindness, often mocking it, belittling her sister in front of friends. Pride had become her armor, her shield against admitting fault. But the rain, it seemed, had become her punishment. The townsfolk whispered about the sky's tears, wondering why the storm was selective. But those who knew the twins understood. The rain fell only on a heart that refused humility. Alara's reflection shimmered in a puddle. She hardly recognized herself. The proud expression, the tight lips, the anger that had built for years. Amara, meanwhile, knelt beside her favorite rose bush, humming softly, her dark eyes reflecting empathy and hope. She had watched her sister's misery grow with a heavy heart, not out of satisfaction, but out of love that refused to vanish. "Maybe one day," she whispered, "she'll see what pride costs." As the days stretched on, Alara tried everything to escape. Umbrella coats, running down alleyways. Nothing worked. The rain was relentless, as if the sky itself scolded her for her arrogance. And in those endless drops, her loneliness became unbearable. For the first time, she remembered moments of shared laughter with Amara, the stolen sweets, the midnight talks, the comforting hugs. How had she allowed pride to erase all of that? By evening, exhausted and drenched, she found herself at the garden gate where Amara stood, smiling gently despite the wetness seeping into her own shoes. Alara's pride surged one last time, but beneath it, a small, quivering hope took root. Could she finally say it? Could one word undo the storm? Her throat tightened, chest burning, and for a moment, time seemed to pause. The sky continued to cry. Alara's steps toward Amara were slow, heavy, each one a battle between pride and desperation. The puddles mirrored her hesitation, her reflection distorted by rippling water. Amara watched silently, understanding without needing to speak. The wind carried whispers of forgiveness, soft and patient. Alara began, voice shaky, almost drowned by the relentless rain. I'm sorry." The word hung in the air like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. The rain faltered, droplets suspended midair, as if waiting. Amara's eyes softened, and for the first time in years, Alara allowed herself to feel the warmth of unconditional love. Amara reached out, her hand brushing against her sister's wet cheek. The touch was gentle, forgiving, transformative. And then, almost miraculously, the sky shifted. Clouds parted slowly, sunlight spilling over both sisters. The rain that had tormented Alara for days vanished, as if it had never existed. People in the town looked up, astonished at the sudden calm. They whispered among themselves, sensing that something extraordinary had occurred. Not magic, but the quiet, powerful force of humility and love. Ilara's tears mingled with the lingering rain on her face, but they were no longer tears of anger. They were tears of release, of recognition, of rebirth. She had finally learned that pride was a burden far heavier than any storm. Amara smiled, squeezing her sister's hand. "It only took one word," she said softly, "but sometimes it's the hardest one to speak." The two sisters stood together, soaked yet radiant, their bond renewed. The town around them slowly returned to normal, but the story of the rain that followed pride and vanished with humility lingered in everyone's hearts. From that day on, Ilara approached life differently. She was no longer enslaved by arrogance, no longer blind to the kindness that had always surrounded her. The townsfolk noticed a change, not just in her demeanor, but in the very air around her. The warmth she radiated, once overshadowed by pride, became contagious. Amar and Ilara often walked together, laughing freely, sharing the simple joys of life. The memory of the rain remained, a reminder of the day the sky cried for one who had forgotten how to love and forgive. And every time clouds gathered, the townsfolk smiled, knowing that humility could always calm the storm. Never underestimate the power of a sincere apology. Pride may protect your ego temporarily, but it cannot shield you from the consequences of your actions. Ilara's journey is a vivid reminder that arrogance isolates, while humility reconnects. The storm that followed her was not punishment by chance. It was a natural outcome of a heart closed to love and reflection. Forgiveness, whether sought or offered, has the power to heal more than just relationships. It can restore peace to the soul and harmony to the world around you. Amara's kindness never wavered, and it was that steadfast love that guided Ilara back to herself. The smallest act of courage, speaking a simple word like sorry, can break the heaviest burden. Life often tests our patience, our character, and our willingness to see beyond ourselves. When we embrace humility, we not only repair our bond with others, but also with ourselves. The tears we shed, like Ilara's rain, can cleanse, nurture, and bring growth if we allow them to teach us. This story reminds us that no matter how long we wander in arrogance, the path back to love and understanding is always open. And in that journey, even the most stubborn hearts can find peace, acceptance, and the warmth of connection. Love and kindness are never wasted. They create ripples that heal and transform.